It's Victoria's version of Friday Night Lights. What a touchdown by Gavin Cobb. I'm Kevin Chirac. This is VI Sports. We're hosting from Mount Douglas Secondary, where the #1 ranked AAA BC High School football Mount Douglas Rams are opening their season against the Jugglers from Notre Dame. We're going to meet head coach Mark Townsend and speak to All-Star Gavin Cobb, who just scored that touchdown, in just a moment. But first, let's preview what's on today's show.
That's an easy call. I do the exact same thing.
A glimpse into the most polarizing job in sports. A look at two rising track stars from Nanaimo. A basketball Cinderella story out of Port Alberni. And Ken Hurricane Himes, do you hear me? Sir, yes, sir, prepares for battle.
Those stories coming up in just a moment, but like I said before this game, we spoke with head coach Mark Townsend and All-Star Gavin Cobb as the team sets their sights on their 4th championship in 5 years. He's been described as the Swiss Army knife on the field, playing everything from quarterback to receiver to defensive back, grade 12, Gavin Cobb. Now it's homecoming. It's the first game of the season. Pretty excited?
I'm so excited. We haven't played a game in 2 weeks. We had a bye last week, and we're all hyped up, ready to go. It's going to be a physical one, so we're looking forward to it.
Now, you were part of the team that made their way to the BC AAA BC High School football championships. You fell short to South Delta. You experienced it. Is there anything that you took from that game? What do you bring to this season for the younger guys?
We just learned to never take anything for granted because, we played South Delta early in the year, and we beat them pretty handily, so we were expecting, same type of thing. We're going to go in, we're just step on the field, and everything was going to happen, and it doesn't really happen like that. So we learned to keep working hard no matter who we're going to play, so we never overlook any of our opponents. So we're going to go out there hard every play and, play every play like it's our last.
And let's talk about your starting quarterback, because he's grade 9, Gideon Kremler. A grade 9 at quarterback. Was it a bit of a shock to you? Talk to me about that experience.
We were really kind of unsure who was going to play quarterback for us because it could have been myself and it could have been him. And I think we just figured that if we let him take the reins at quarterback, and he's doing a hell of a job, or I guess I shouldn't say it on TV, but he's doing a real good job, and he has a good head on his shoulders, and if he keeps looking forward and playing football like he should, then he's going to do well for us.
He's captured 3 provincial titles in the last 4 years. Rams head coach Mark Townsend. Now, Mark, I'm just going to ask, you got a bunch of returning guys, a bunch of new faces on the team this year. Just generally, what type of team is the 2015 Mount Douglas Rams?
What really impresses me about this year's team, hard-working bunch of kids. We may not be as large in size and in roster numbers from previous years, but they're a hard-working bunch of kids, and I know that they want to go out there and compete every game as hard as they can.
Now, you got a bunch of key returning guys from last season. Last season, you guys fell in the finals to South Delta in the finals. Just talk to me about how that game, what did they take from that experience that they can carry over into this season?
Well, I think they know that losing is part of the process for improving and for winning, and I think that's the main message that they're taking from that last loss against South Delta in the 2014 championship game.
Now, I got to ask about this storyline. You're a quarterback. You've been asked a million times. I got to ask you again. Gideon Kremler, he's grade 9.
Yes.
On the surface, it seems like a very bold move. So I got to ask just your decision behind naming a grade 9 your quarterback.
Well, physically, he looks like a varsity player. He has all the great tools of a quarterback in terms of his arm strength, the ability to scramble around, intelligence. What really won us over, he's mature beyond his years. And so the transition for him playing for the varsity team and only being in grade 9 has been absolutely seamless. He's an awesome, awesome kid, and we're blessed to have him playing varsity quarterback for the next 4 years. Very exciting to witness.
Thanks, Coach. Well, we look forward to looking into his progression and the team's progression this season. Good luck in the rest of the year.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Now for our first story, we're going to step inside the shoes of the sports figures that are rarely celebrated and often ridiculed.
That's enough, Barry.
It's a thankless job.
Us against the world.
Where one blow of the whistle can make them the villain.
We're enemy number 1, so it comes with the job and something that you sort of have to relish a little bit.
Trevor Bars has officiated basketball for over 15 years.
Having a no-brainer call for our first one of the night.
Each game starts here in the changing room. The referee pre-game meeting, a time to establish communication and trust.
That's a dual coverage area now?
Knowing those people, knowing what you're going to get from them and how they interact makes a massive difference.
I like it. Good start, gents.
To officiate basketball or any sport, a referee needs to have hundreds of rules memorized. ready to enforce on an instant.
Once the ball goes up, I find it that I just get into the zone, take it play by play. You're making, tens if not hundreds of decisions within sequences, and most of the time it's not to do something, but it's being in that moment all the time so that you are prepared when something does come up, so that you can make that decisive, confident call.
But a confident call is rarely a popular one.
That's an easy call. I do the exact same thing. Yes.
Dealing with alpha personas and keeping your cool is a must.
Barry. We've heard what he said. That's enough. Thank you.
They want to see certain things out there, and that's things like presence and confidence and decisiveness. And without those three things, those are prerequisites to even step on the floor. Without those three things, you don't stand a chance.
It's a job where anything can happen. It's high-level sport, and Trevor Bars, a former college football player, has a front seat.
We feel the adrenaline. We're having as much fun with it as we can.
Hey, don't forget your way there. I'm not as fast as I used to be. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Need you.
But we're just not able to kind of show the same way.
Even when everyone's against him.
When the boo birds come out, it's once you get to a certain point and you're at a certain comfort level with that, you almost get to enjoy that type of experience, because again, it's that energy that the crowd is giving off.
And as the pressure of the game builds, so does the bond of the officials, the team between the teams.
One of the biggest reasons that I stay involved and will continue to stay involved in basketball refereeing is the camaraderie aspect.
You've got a lot of responsibility. I don't like it.
Within the refereeing community itself, I'm getting to work with people from all over, not only Western Canada, but I've been fortunate to go to a few national championships as well. So working with people with similar passions and interests from all over the country, gives you a great way to see the country and a great way to meet people from all over the place.
In sport, referees are rarely liked, usually unnoticed, and sometimes hated. But their value in sport is undeniable, even if one of their calls goes against your team.
They can call us all the names we want. We got thick skin by this point.
I don't care what you say, that is the toughest job in sports. All right, we're going to take a quick break. More from Mount Douglas Secondary when we return.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to Mount Douglas Secondary. Now, do you have a goal? Something you work towards every single day? Well, our own Kelly Robinson in Nanaimo met a couple of track and field athletes who put that notion into practice and are now gaining national recognition.
Warming up at the Rotary Bowl, Nanaimo track and field athletes Jason Clare and Alyssa Musso have been friends since they met here when they were only in grade 5.
He kind of showed me the ropes of how to go for PBs.
PBs are basically your personal best. It's what you're always trying to strive for every single meet.
It kind of taught me that it wasn't all about winning, it was all about going for the best you could do. And that helps me, seeing as I wasn't a very strong athlete until about, I'd say, grade 9.
While striving for their own personal bests, Jason and Alyssa had some big goals for themselves.
My goal from the beginning of track was to try to make Team Canada. So I set my sights high and I told myself I'd try to make it in the 800 meters.
I told all my friends, I was like, hey, I want to make that. That looks awesome. That looks incredible.
Grade 11, it was our first opportunity to try to make a national team. I was really on the cusp, and then I got the email from one of the Team Canada coaches saying congratulations.
Alyssa and Jason both made the cut and represented Canada at the World Youth Championships in Colombia this past July.
It was the best experience ever. It seemed like there were so many people and how we were going to be able to remember everybody's name, but within a day they became family.
Experience was unreal. Just the entire time there, it was is like almost lost for words. It was just an honor representing your country. That was probably the best part about it, being able to wear the maple leaf and the flag, and it was just, yeah, it was incredible.
Their experience on Team Canada fueled their passion and inspired them to push even harder.
After making my first national team, it's just you're hungry for more. You want to make as many as you possibly can after that. So World Juniors is going to be a big jump. I have to jump a big PB next year just to make it.
World Juniors next year is in Russia, so I'm hopefully going to try to make that team. Working extremely hard trying to make that. I'm also hoping to get a scholarship to some school.
Alyssa and Jason both say they wouldn't be where they are today without the dedicated coaches and Nanaimo Track and Field, a nonprofit volunteer organization that provides opportunity and training for all athletes to compete.
It's good for everyone. There's an event for everyone. You can, if you're not the fastest person around, you can always do throws. And if you're not the strongest person around, you can always do runs. You can, if you're gymnasts, often do pole vault.
Track, honestly, it's such a special sport because it takes a specific type of person to be able to come out here every day and push themselves to the limit that we do. The people at track, everyone I've ever met has been the most happy and outgoing people, and everyone just seems to click really, really well.
It's a great place to be part of a team and to make a lot of new friends, and it's a huge part of my life. Track and fields is basically my life, actually.
Nanaimo Track and Field welcomes and encourages new participants and volunteers. More information about the various opportunities can be found on their website. In Nanaimo, for VI Sports, I'm Kelly Robinson.
Congrats, Alyssa and Jason, inspiring stuff. And speaking of inspiring stories, remember that 1986 film Hoosiers, the story of the small-town Indiana basketball team that shocked the world by winning state? Well, what if I told you that a similar, even more improbable story happened right here on the island? Nancy Wilmot brings you an Island Underdog Classic.
Basketball is a game of intensity, of speed and split-second decisions. And in 1965, the Alberni Athletics played it better than pretty much anyone in the country.
No matter where we went, we always knew we were going to win. And we always did the same plays every time and won every time. It was such an honor to be on that team.
It was an honor to be on the team. After all, in 1955, the Athletics had made history by winning the Senior Men's Canadian Championships. And now, just 10 years later, a dream team of players had come together in the Alberni Valley to create their own magic.
It felt real good, the comradeship between the players and everything. We were pretty confident. And we played in there and started having a bit of success there. And Alberni became quite noted for having good ball teams.
Well, Colin is being characteristically humble. In fact, Port Alberni felt like the basketball capital of Canada. And watching it unfold and being inspired in the stands was a 15-year-old Bill Surrey.
When you have a team of that stature here, you really want to be that good. So they do. They pick you up and make you feel like you're really aiming at something that you can achieve.
In fact, the momentum was so strong, the inspiration so tangible, that it almost seemed inevitable that the end of that 1965 season saw the Alberni Athletics playing once again in the final match to determine who would be the national men's champions.
It was played in the Athletic Hall, and it was, we had the best team. There was no doubt that we were going to win, and the crowds were so enthused and helpful at the time.
And of course, they did win, cementing their place in history.
It just felt fantastic to win an award like that. It's kind of a once in a lifetime, really.
It's just like that deep breath, it's such a good feeling to be one of the best teams the best team in Canada at that time.
The best team in Canada. Athletes that became role models for thousands of young men and women who saw in them tangible proof that they could achieve whatever they dreamed.
We looked up to anybody that was there because they made it. So you thought you had someplace you could actually get to.
Everybody wanted to be like us. So it was all the young kids wanted to be like us. Every time they see us, they start dribbling the ball and running and shooting and things like that. They wanted to copy whatever we were doing. Yes.
They were the Steve Nashes of their day. And maybe that's the lasting legacy of these champions. Not just that they won the national title, but that they gave so many others something to aim for. And according to Tom Watts, having a goal and believing that it's possible to attain it can make all the difference.
You know, looking forward to something, like, it just changes your whole life. It changes, actually. You know what you have to do. You know, you just can't go out and do whatever you want to do. You've got to do what you have to do. And it made a big difference in my life, yeah.
A team from a town of 20-some-odd thousand becomes the best in the country. Amazing story. All right, we got to take a quick break. More Mount Doug Rams football when we return.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
Welcome back, hosting from the Mount Douglas Rams sidelines. Now, for our last story, we go out to our volunteer reporter, Ken Hurricane Himes. Yes, he's back, and he's investigating a new sport that's gaining huge popularity here in Victoria.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the University of Victoria, where today the action is the main attraction. We are here for Clash of the Arrows. And right now I'd like to introduce you to the young entrepreneur, the Haitian sensation, Didier Vincent. Didier, what is the sport all about, this Clash of Arrows? Fill us in, please, and welcome to the show.
So Clash of Arrows, essentially, it's bringing together the sport of archery, but kind of like a dodgeball, paintball, laser tag activity. So that sounds crazy, it's mind-blowing. People are like, what? But essentially, it's foam-tipped arrows, you have a paintball mask on, super friendly activity, and you just duke it out.
Is this a sport?
Well, Clash of Arrows, I would say it's a sport. The game we're playing is called archery tag, and it involves your physical activity. You're running around, you're dodging, you're ducking, you're using your skills of archery. So you actually learn how to use a bow and arrow. We teach you.
So we're going to go to war here today with Clash of the Arrows, and we are going to man those battle stations.
All right, stick your chest out. Head and eyes to the front. Are you guys ready to go to war in Clash of Arrows?
Yes, sir.
But first we gotta go through basic training, and we gotta get in shape. Do you hear me?
Sir, yes, sir.
That's right. Start running now. Get going, boys and girls. Get going. Lift your knees up. Come on, people. Lift right in, right in. Let's go. Lift your knees up. Come on, this ain't a walk in the park, people.
People, this isn't Cupid. We're going to war right now. I got my helmet.
All right, are you ready? Let's get it on. 1, 2, 3, go. Towards the front. I got you. Go. Hide behind you. Thanks, I didn't get the lesson. No. Get him. Let's go. Move forward. We're going to have to go over the top at some point. Yeah? We're going to go over the top. You sure? And take them out. You sure we can do that? If I have to take one for the team, I'll take one for you.
Don't do it.
And don't do it. I've got to do it. It's something I've got to do.
Don't do it.
Let's go over the top.
You can play Twister without me.
Don't do it.
I'm going over the top.
Don't do it.
Ah!
Don't do it.
Ah! Here I come. Ah!
Sports fans, every once in a while, a great athlete has to be a great teammate, and he has to take one, he or she, for the team. That's what I did today. We've seen a man who had to dig deep and come over the top and take one for his teammates. I hope this is a great lesson for all the kids out there. They can learn that by giving themselves up to the enemy, the other players, in order to get that goal, to get that basket, to get that touchdown, whatever it is not a bad idea. To fail in order for your team to win. We found out today. For VI Sports, here at Thunderfest at the University of Victoria, it's Ken Hurricane Hives.
Wise words, Hurricane, wise words. That sport is seriously epic. And if you want to try it or want some more info, come check out their website, clashofarrows.com. Well, as you can see, we are all wrapped up here. Mount Douglas Rams take their home opener over the Notre Dame Jugglers. And hey, you should check them out this season. They got a very good team. They're #1 ranked. And hey, they could add another banner to this storied high school football team. For everyone here at VI Sports, I'm Kevin Schrack. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for videos, sports updates, and more. And hey, stay tuned because we're going to give you a recap highlights of this very game. See you next time.